And we're live. Good morning. It's Friday. I'm half asleep. It's another busy week. I've been dealing with some nice issues on a project, but hey, here we are. It's nearly the weekend. Hey, Marcin, how are you?
Yeah, hey. I have a really nice learned word to reflect how I'm feeling this week, and it's resplendent. It's my new learned word. I feel good. I feel energized. As we were talking before we went live, I'm observing the project being built in my hometown, which is my home, and this made me enjoy this week more and more. But besides that, I'm probably the same. A lot of things going on, a lot of projects to catch up, a lot of challenges to face. So yeah, pretty busy, if I won't lie. But that's good. That's normal, right? That's a new normal.
Yeah, exactly. And you said to me before we went live, you still not touched an IDE in weeks.
Yes. I still miss Visual Studio. I tried to upgrade it one day, but then I failed to start even upgrading it. I saw Visual Studio Code in the browser, and that's what I opened just to see if it's working. But besides that, unfortunately or fortunately, I didn't touch any IDE, and I do all my coding changes in the GitHub pull request for my teammates.
I've been doing code spaces and similar recently, and honestly, it's quite good. I can get used to it. And I this week, Apple. I'm a big Apple fan. We all know that they unveiled their new MacBook, and mine conveniently died last week. So I'm gonna buy it, but it doesn't run Windows. So I'm now in this predicament of before Tuesday when it shows up, I'm gonna have to work out a solution for running
installation. Yeah.
Running
which one did you pick then? M1 Pro or Max?
Yeah, I've gone for the Max. I've kind of maxed it out because but it's weird because if I'm not running a VM on it, I'm not sure how much of that power I'm actually going to need. It's more of an ego thing, I think. So,
but Callum, that's a good time to mention it. We are also a YouTube creators, and it's I saw that this is amazing, amazing computer and laptop for video processing, graphics moderation, and all the crazy stuff. So we will probably benefit from using this power.
I'm gonna have to take up new hobbies just to take advantage of all the power that it has.
Or you can start mining bitcoins again.
I've done enough of that, although it's done quite well this week, so I'm happy. But I'm not getting into any of that.
But I wanted to interrupt this introduction to mention that we are getting towards 700 subscribers, and that's something it's exciting. And I think we are eight from 700. So today, let's use this first introduction segment and the first attention grab to like, subscribe, and share it across your friends to help us reach 700 before our episode 200.
2 weeks time. Not that we're desperate or anything, but it would be awesome to hit 700 by then. And I know that this week we had a good push. I think we gained 7 or 8 subscribers, and we've caught back up with where we should be. We need 3 more by the end of today to be on target, and then we'll get there.
Help us, and we will help you. So let's jump to Umbraco news, and of course, because it was a really busy week across Umbracians as well, and we've mentioned the new RFC last week, and it was getting busier, and there was more discussions about it this week as well. So it's RFC about defining new back office extension API, and what I wanted to mention about it, because it's really interesting and it refers to what I shared a couple of weeks ago. It's like we cannot longer think about backend and front end and then have infinite battles about it, because it's so often crossing the paths right now that it's sometimes hard to even draw a line, right? What is backend? If you're dealing with APIs from the front end code, are you writing front end code or manipulating APIs? That's crazy.
A great point. We've had this conversation before about, does this back and front end divide exist in the Umbraco ecosystem, or are people just Umbraco developers? And I think that term works quite well, but people obviously ask, what does that mean? And I think nowadays, if you're working with the back office, creating a custom section or something, you need to have a controller, most likely, in C# code. But then there's also going to be a heavy amount of JavaScript. So being able to do both is quite important. It's fantastic to see so many people with so many different skill sets chipping in on this one. And that's kind of why I added it. Just want to highlight if there's anything you can add, just jump on that. There's some great conversation.
And also, I see a potential issue. Hard to say issue, but we got used to doing things in a specific ways, and sometimes and as let's say, I assume we are all focused on problem solving, and if we want to build extension in a specific way, and there is a new way, we will use a new way. and the solution in overall and the end result is what matters. And I think the only thing what I want to really dive into this discussion at some point is like if we will be able to do specific things, because if so, I think that's the most important thing. And the way or the solution or the tools to be used for that is just the implementation detail in this case. But of course, again, I think it's worth to invite everyone to contribute. I didn't catch up on all of these discussions. There's so many great responses from community members there. And yeah, I think everyone needs to just, if someone is interested in a back office extension API and the shape of it, it's a lot of knowledge already there, which even I need to catch up.
Yeah,
for sure.
We discussed this last week, but don't be afraid if you say, I don't know JavaScript, or I'm not I know a lot of people have resisted building plugins from Umbraco because they don't like or know Angular, and this is the time to voice your views on how you'd maybe like this to be opened up, so it's accessible for you if you have limited knowledge. So everyone should get involved in this.
Yeah, and indeed, we need to evolve as well sometimes, right? It's like a normal path, and yeah, things cannot stay as they are, because we would really use jQuery till today in all of our projects if it will be like that. Another thing, what is interesting this week, it was Umbraco. What's the code name for it? It's Umbraco Speed Battle.
Yeah, something like that. This is so cool. So Emmanuel started this off by saying, "Hey, look, I got I was able to automatically spin up and tear down. Or in fact, not automatically. It was he just showed me doing it. I'm going to spin up an Umbraco v9 site with a starter kit installed, and hey, look how quick that was, which is really nice." Yeah. And then a few people took it a bit more seriously and went, "Hey, nice." And I think Sebastian and Ronald, they got involved, and they started with a pretty good 51 seconds attempt, which is awesome. And they said they cut some corners, and then I think Kevin Jump came in with a PowerShell script that kind of used a pre-built database and got it all up and running nice and quickly, which is really cool. 35 seconds. That's really impressive. Really
and then we saw a final reply from Jesper, about 34 seconds even, right? So that's getting more and more exciting.
I wonder how much like the individual compute power of the machine has to do with this. Of course, it will have some bearing, but at the same time, it's still incredibly impressive that you could, in under a minute, get Umbraco set up and installed.
But then, if we will have this powers dependence, how not use DevOps or Azure Actions or things like that, who has even more powers behind the scenes, and they can really help us to do it quicker. Here what I found most interesting is like Kevin shared some of his scripts, for example. I believe that more people will also share how they've achieved this, and it will all help us to incorporate some of these patterns into the, let's say, fully automated sometimes runs of the new installations of Umbraco, for example, for the new, let's say, feature testing or things like that. That's what excites me the most, because we were always aiming to have it, and it was not always easy or possible even sometimes to do it quickly and without affecting the project work. So that's really, really interesting.
And we spoke about code spaces this week and last week, but codes, I'm really impressed with the how easy it was to get a solution up and running there, and I can see that working really nicely for projects whereby Warren created it so the Docker container will bootstrap your database basically, set up the SQL Server instance, and then use the unattended installs to just create an instance so you're ready to go, which is mega impressive. I think it maybe took a minute or two, but for the whole for the core, that is, for the whole core code base, and I can just see that being really valuable for like maybe smaller projects, but bigger ones too. If you've What you know?
I think big ones too, because what excites me the most about Dockerizing all the experiences here is like also a version control and being able to revert easily to previous container version. So if something goes wrong, and sometimes things go wrong, we need to revert, and then it's just a matter of repointing to the another container, and we are fine. So that's something what I'm looking the most forward, and I know that a lot of people who are working with Docker, .NET Core, and similar solutions are also excited about it. So
yeah,
interesting times ahead. So people, share your use cases, share your examples and achievements, and yeah, we will highlight the final winner who will get under
I wonder if someone could get it down under like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Someone really crazy.
Maybe with a pre-made Docker container, that might be, that might be possible.
I mean, definitely. I mean, there's the NuGet cache, which is obviously stored locally, making sure that all of your dependencies were cached there first. Maybe that's cheating a bit, but having a pre-built database ready to go, yeah, I reckon. Interesting.
Possible. Good challenge for sure. The next on our list is Scriptly release from this mid-month digest. And it's inviting us to celebrate Oktoberfest also. And how's Oktoberfest progress on your end, Callum?
Yeah, I was halfway through the month, so that's good, right?
Yeah.
But I'm still halfway through, and we're now 3/4 of the way through. And this week I didn't get my stream up and running, just from being incredibly busy and my laptop being dead and last week's audio being terrible. So I've not had a proper chance yet to do another contribution. Maybe this weekend.
No.
Maybe this weekend.
Same here. I have an ambitious plan to also dedicate some time at the end of the month for it.
You're gonna just do like a whole on the last day or something.
Deadline driven. But yeah, here's a call to action to contribute, of course, and participate in Oktoberfest, but also a really nice wrap up about Umbraco Together initiative, which you are sub-leading, Callum, and yeah, I think it's a lot of great insights about the whole mission behind it, the plan, the explanations why it's done like that. And same with the Umbraco DK Festival. So big shootout and a call to action to events which are upcoming here in the next couple weeks, almost, right?
3
weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks, and I'll be in Denmark, which is
nice.
Rapidly coming around. It's cool.
We will talk about events soon because we have a segment about it. Releases and in this area, that was exciting list to read. I must admit, it was a lot of projects and packages released, updated this week. Starting off from Contentment first, non-beta, non-alpha version. So Contentment version 3, released by Lee. And yeah, it's here, it's ready, it's really nicely documented as well, with a lot of great new improvements and features. So yeah, hopefully after the weeks of mentioning all of the alphas and betas, no one needs more explanations about the package. So just grab it and just enjoy the stable version. Congrats, Lee, for
is this multi-targeted release. So as the description says here, it's the same as I think Contentment 2.2.1 on V8, working for V9 and V8 as well. So you could use it for both, which is really cool. I'll be honest, this week I tried my first multi-targeted package for the first time.
How it went?
And it's a hot mess. I'm surprised that people like Matt and Lee have done that for such big code bases, and that they've found working with it okay. Maybe it's just because I'm not used to it, but this was trying to migrate a small vendor plugin to vendor v2, and I kind of wanted to be able to work for both vendor on v8 and v9, and yeah, hot mess.
But maybe in the long term it will pay off. It's like you spend some more time investing into setting it up, but then time saved in maintaining it in one place rather than both.
Yeah, maybe the question is how long can we? The question is going to be how long can we go with that approach? Because if V10 comes out and it just means that's going to be totally unfeasible, then then fine. You've got the benefit of it from a year, and then after that it sort of disappears. I don't know. We'll see. But I was finding a lot of things that just they make sense as to why you have to do them that way. It's not entirely. I'm not entirely convinced on the benefit. And then there's also some .NET Core things clearly that I was hitting up against that just aren't a thing in .NET Core that I would have been able to do in V8. For example, I know it's a swear word, but service locator, being able to pull a service out of thin air when you need it, such as in like an extension method. And yeah, you should pass stuff in, blah blah blah. But the argument is your kind of service itself should be dependency injectable and testable, and the extension methods shouldn't have to be. But there's just no such thing in Umbraco or in the MSDI abstractions or anything. You shouldn't. I kind of.
And again, if we're talking about two versions, Callum, that's just two versions. But what I found recently and what refreshed my mind a little was this LTS plan for Umbraco versioning. And let's say if we will have Umbraco 10 version released on the first quarter next year, then Umbraco 11 by the end of the year, and who knows, and no one knows probably what technologies and what framework advantages will be released then, or changes to the framework. That might get even more messy and tricky, but still the approach taken is like to save some time. And I refer back to all the times when I was working on the cross-platform applications back in the days. It was treated as an investment. The first time spent, it's investment in less management around the next versions, but still, it's not always suits the needs, right? So we need to be all aware of that. Cool. Another cool packages released this week. Doctype Grid Editor from Soren, version 9, updated 6 days ago. New release. I'm trying to find out some notes. Some updates, some bug fixes, and again, package description on NuGet exposed. But Callum, interesting feedback after last episode. The package creators who were lacking some of the descriptions improved the descriptions and made some efforts to make them more readable. And I think we all need to take care of that. And then I still didn't manage our packages and our descriptions to be.
Maybe someone watching would know, but I would love if there was a way of just providing like a README URL. So that I didn't have to load all of the README content into my new spec or CS profile when I generate. Basically, I wonder if it'd be really cool to be able to say, here's my GitHub README file. Just pull that in for the package README. But then I don't know. Does this potentially shows in the NuGet package manager as well, like in Visual Studio and stuff? So.
There are some GUIs for that and also automations as well, but still, depending how much information do you want to have there. But again, that's a good concept because having full README here sometimes will help and make a big difference. So maybe NuGet's team is listening.
I've seen a big increase. People, of course, gather links for these episodes, and we look on places like Twitter, on Slack, on Our for package announcements and news. And a lot of times people tweet links to GitHub releases, which is fantastic because we can then go and see exactly what's changed, and there's notes and they all look good. And by the way, there's a new update there where you can kind of do full WYSIWYG editing on the release notes. I love it when people share those because we can kind of send a snapshotted, here's what happened, and leave that in the links down below. I've seen an increase in people sharing links to NuGet package pages, and maybe that makes sense. Maybe that is the way we should be doing it. Maybe our README should also live here. But there's argument for kind of choosing a place, I think, and sticking with it. And definitely for now, the README files on NuGet are just lacking, missing.
And I think generally, if you are visiting whatever page about the package, you need to at least briefly understand what it does, for what it can be used. And previously we were just installing it from NuGet because we already knew what we wanted to install. And now it might be different because the NuGet will be the source of truth. But that's interesting discussion, and I think we need to all help each other and improve in this way because there might be different input sources from where people will be looking for our packages as well.
Seb has
NuGet included.
Seb has just confirmed to me, messaged me, you can paste a URL in when you upload your package. So you can just give it your GitHub README file and a little bit.
Nice.
Which is cool. So I will be doing that maybe this weekend. Just put a new build out of all the packages so the READMEs are up to date.
Cool. Thanks, Sebastian, for the insight. The next package from Soren as well is full text search. The new release of it, version 2 for Umbraco v9 as well. The next package on our list is a new version of Examine. Which tab I have open here?
Shannon may have left HQ, but it's not stopping him working on cool stuff that the Umbraco community can benefit from. And it looks like this one was a bunch of Oktoberfest contributions by Matthew Kerr. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and this is what you've mentioned about this release information, right? This is pretty good. What has changed? What are the new contributions and yeah, full changelog of the versions between. So yeah, new version of Examine ready to be upgraded too. The next one was Examine X update as well for Azure Search extension.
This is RC1 for Umbraco 9.
Yes,
it's a big deal. And I know Shannon tweeted that he will be probably releasing another RC quite soon, but the goal is to get this out nice and quickly. So, yeah.
And I believe, again, as Shannon used to ask, if earlier it was people to test it really are needed, because that's always harder to catch up all the issues, all the problems with the external indexing and the external index sources. So if anyone is using it, definitely, and wants to use it on the Umbraco v9, maybe is waiting for it, let's test it out there. And the next one is more like an extension point. What made me really feel amazed. It's a full heat map analysis in a uMarketing suite, and done completely inside of the uMarketing suite without any extension and coding efforts required. So that's impressive.
And still like privacy aware and stuff as well. They've done an excellent job with that. And I mean, I'm not a marketer, but even I can make sense of what I'm seeing there. Like that's.
Yeah, and team at uMarketing shared the information that they were passing some compliance about the privacy recently, right? And that's even more better, because I think in the times like today, the privacy is essential. But also I understand the full efforts from the marketing team to understand their users, to track their activities, and to maybe align their actions better for them, so we can have two and be satisfied from it.
I feel a lot more comfortable having this installed than I would letting someone go to town on Google Tag Manager and dropping all kinds of scripts into pages to make it do stuff that they wanted to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's true. The next is Warren's package called Tag Helpers. So it started from the discussion on one of the pull requests, from what I remember, right? About some tag helpers maybe being considered as a part of the core, and here Warren released it as a separated repo, separated sub project, which can extend Umbraco with some tag helpers. I didn't follow it, to be honest, that much. Callum, did you try it, or did you check what
I've
it
not
can
tried it.
do?
So I think this was the outcome of, maybe it's been going on a little longer, but this was the outcome of yesterday, one of the lunchtime hacking sessions on the Discord server, where a few people were going to be involved and going to collaborate. And I know that Warren and I had a few others had a good chat a few weeks back, where we said these would be some really handy things to have included as tag helpers, including image croppers and picture element stuff. And so it's great to see this come to life. And it's not. It kind of makes sense that this is a community package as well, and not an HQ thing. But then maybe some stuff should be in core too. So this isn't. Oh, it is on NuGet, or there's at least a release. Yeah, there's a NuGet package.
Yeah, it is.
You can download it, maybe just on the GitHub package. But that's really cool. So people can start playing with this, work out what's missing. Maybe I could do a Hacktoberfest contribution on this one.
Yeah, that sounds like a really nice hacking session and something new to be tested. And of course, it looks like a improvement from the perspective of saving code and making things standardized in terms of reusing the same components all the time. But really cool stuff, and we can all check it out right now. Thanks Warren for sharing it and releasing it as a full package for the testing. The next one is something what a lot of people awaited as well, and it's Exstatic version 2 for Umbraco 9. And some shared a tweet that it's on the stage where it actually works. So it's an alpha version of the Exstatic, and with some pretty cool extensions. And for whoever didn't know about this package, it's a static site generator for Umbraco who can push the static version of the site to various destinations such as Netlify, FTP, Git repo, or even more.
I saw as well. I think Jesper Ordrup was asking, hey, could we use this to say generate JSON so that they could maybe use another static site generation tool or something? Could you make it generate like, I don't know, I think is it Hugo, which is YAML based? You could make it out like yeah, it's that sort of thing, like static site generators, but based off of something. Could you just use it to expose data? That's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, I remember that Kevin Jump also shared this use case of some using that can populate whatever format of data you can have. So it's exciting. Plus another package, and the next package which we want to discuss today is also made for the purposes of exposing Umbraco content for some external usage. In this case, more like a content API layer. And I like both approaches. I think we'll see more and more of this now, especially that some of us are treating Umbraco as an extension point or just a management platform to expose data for some other destinations, mobile apps included, and some other fancy tools. And I really like this project. I remember this one when I was reviewing it for the Umbraco version 8. And then we started project 9, which was headless project, and we written our own content service and content API. And here Dave did an enormous job of making it work. And it's such a great inspiration for all of us as well, who are struggling with various implementations challenges in the content services. So kudos for sharing it as well. And I'm sure that more of us will reuse this kind of lessons. Yeah. Did you come and check the code for this one maybe at some point?
No, I haven't. But this existed for V8 as well, I believe.
It's for V9. It's for V9.
It previously existed for V8, I think. I think Dave
has
created a V8 version. And I remember we discussed this at the time that the HQ had no intention of maintaining a kind of headless project for the CMS itself, and the community should step up. But yeah, it makes sense. This is the same argument when you look at things like headrest that Matt created?
Headrest, yes, headrest,
yeah. Okay, having some helpers around is quite nice, but sometimes you like to roll your own as well. So I know whenever we create API-driven stuff, we just create our own API controllers. There was a debate this week as well, wasn't there, about what you call your models and stuff that you
yes.
And it seems like everyone's kind of doing the same sort of thing and inventing their own response object that always comes back. But yeah, it's an interesting idea of exposing the whole of the CMS content in this way.
Yeah. So if anyone is looking for some inspirations and maybe not exact package implementation like that, definitely a lot of great coding is inside there, and we can all inspire each other. So that's the beauty of open source in this case. And last but not least, from the package releases this week is validation attribute package, and this is also a new version for new version of Umbraco, right, Callum? That's what existed previously. Yeah, there was versions for V8 and V7.
So this is a weird one. I know that Rasmus previously had a version of this, and it worked for a few versions. I think if we go back even further, there was a great blog post by Warren from at least 5 years ago, showing, hey, here's how I've done, validation and attribute stuff based off the Umbraco dictionary. And I remember way back, early V7, looking at that code and pulling it into a project, it's going to be knocking around somewhere still. It's really handy. It's really handy. We've done it so often recently where we've got projects with a lot of like custom forms, and being able to content manage those attributes would be amazing. So yeah, maybe I'll give this package a go.
And I think as well, if in the new times of multilingual sites, and if we already have all the languages defined, if we have all the dictionaries exposed, all the possibilities with dictionaries, that makes more sense. And if you can even manage it and source control it and control it in general, that's amazing. So definitely worth trying if anyone is planning to do something with the dictionaries and translations and validation for it. That's packages and events. Events are next. We've already mentioned that 3 weeks from now you will become in Denmark on Umbraco DK Festival, and there is a couple other events aligned. Let me just find it. So we have today. When is this call for proposal ending for?
It ends in less than 11 hours. You've got like 10 hours and 55 minutes to get your submissions in. I can see you submitted your 3, Marcin. Let's not give any spoilers. I've submitted my 3 as well. Damn, it's really hard writing call for proposals.
Yeah.
Especially after so long of not really doing events. Like I was in a bit of a rhythm before. I was probably doing maybe 5 submissions a week to various conferences, and that's how I managed to have pretty much a whole year where I was at conferences constantly. But yeah, it's a really difficult thing when you get out of practice to get back into.
I had a time during the year when I, on purpose, didn't submit anything to any event. I just didn't want to participate, and then I thought that I don't have anything interesting to share as well.
I've been having that debate with the team, like, what would be interesting to share at the moment. And someone, I think I said this on umbraCoffee the other day. Someone said to me, "Oh, surely you've got loads of V9 content to talk about," and that's true. But Umbraco V9 itself isn't all that interesting. You can cover most of the topics about V9 in a couple of sessions, and HQ are doing those, and that's great. It's all the other stuff around it that now kind of gets unlocked that's quite interesting. So
no, that's true.
Yeah. Also, evergreen talks that work well for regardless of if it's V8 or V9. Those are good. It's kind of
I like them. I like them the most, to be honest, across the talks, because they are universal, and we are all, no matter what version of Umbraco will be using, the same problems will hit us, I believe, and that's exciting. But another opportunity, Callum, which we wanted to mention is Umbraco Together, which we've already discussed about, and it also has a call for proposals open till the end of month, right?
Yeah, so 10 days left on this one. We won't be extending it because we're running to very tight deadlines on this. So get your ideas submitted, even if it's, I say even if it's a sentence. Please, if you're someone that we know and it's a sentence, we've had some people from like Australia submitting. Let me talk about some random headless CMS, like but definitely, if you've got an idea, submit it. And I'll work with you to flesh it out and make it a reality ahead of the talk. We don't need a fully fledged proposal. And the other thing I'd say, I know a lot of people are keen to come to London, but please submit to your local events too, because you want the London event is certainly not going to be like a hub or anything for the event. We're running 4 equal complete events, so please submit your ideas for your local event. I'm sure your community would appreciate it. And also, you're amongst friends. No one's going to judge you.
Exactly. A little bit bigger meetups. That's how it is.
XL meetups.
Right. And speaking about it, the tickets are still on sale, and there is a link. There is a link in the call for proposals, and of course we'll link all it up down below the video. Tickets are on sale. Buy them, secure your spots. Check the destination where you want to go. There are 4 different events in 4 different locations, and there are still spaces available. So secure your space, and
exactly. It really helps with planning. It really helps with planning to know numbers, even though we're massively. We're not expecting ridiculous numbers like a UK festival. It still helps. Still needs some notice. So please buy tickets.
Is there any number of people which make the event not happening?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
We could use it. We could use it, like, if we want to have 20 people.
If you want to put it like that, we can make meeting friends.
Many events are doing it like that, but of course we are not like Umbraco community is not like many events, right? So that's
no, exactly. I mean,
but still,
the deposits have been paid on the venues, so the venues are happening. People need to show up. So yeah.
Yeah, but we are friendly people, so I can just be ambassador of every event organizer. Is like, please secure your spots because it helps organizers to plan better events. And I know you're pretty busy, Callum, now, so definitely it will be a busy time, closer to the event dates, and it's just a month from now. That's
literally a month from now. It's crazy.
Oh man, crazy. So yeah, but it's exciting at the same time. So first in-person events amongst various locations. So really cool stuff. And at the end, some of the other information spotted around the web, starting from Corne and his blog post about comparison of dependency injection approaches between Umbraco version 8 and version 9, with some container descriptions, really cool examples. I won't be spoiling too much. Just it's worth checking, and again, it's growing into a really nice series of materials for everyone who will be transitioning between version 8 and version 9. So yeah, great work from Corne here. The next one is about. Oh, this one was a trigger for many discussions. And but really interesting look at the topic, right? It's like Matt Braithwaite started. If you haven't seen it, I think everyone should read it. Matt got used to writing really nice blogs about the vision of the community or the general project or project after some transitions and transforms. And here it's an essential question: is .NET Core the end of the pragmatic Umbraco developer? And a lot of battles about being pragmatic versus being purist occurred on Twitter sphere. And I don't know, Callum, what is your opinion? Is it the end of the pragmatic Umbraco developer approach?
To be fair, this conversation, it's great to see Matt kind of in one place, because this conversation's been going on in the MVP Slack channel as well with HQ for a while, when new decisions have been made about, like, we're forcing everyone to use NuGet now for various very good reasons, or we're dependency injection's a first-class citizen in .NET now. So it's a concept that you've really got to grasp. And like I said the other day, this example of the service locator, maybe patterns that you would have used before, which are anti-patterns in the eyes of language designers. They tell you, hey, maybe don't do this. And it means that where before you could have kind of hacked something together, you'd have done something the way that you're comfortable with and you get it working, and that's great. You're kind of now forced to work within a structure. And that's good and bad. For general maintainability, it's great. But for the people who've always done that, maybe they've done that for 15 years, what happens? Do they switch to PHP or something else?
Yeah, it all closes up with the circle of being problem solver in the ways how we want to solve the problems. Because if you want to click through the UI and build the website, it is also possible, but maybe it will be easier with some other products and so maybe other packages or things on top. But if you are let's say hardcore Umbraco developer building an enterprise solutions with so many extension points and stuff, you need to dive into these deep concepts and deep configurations in the backend code to make it work, because it's a pretty complex project. So I think it's hard to satisfy both sides, and I know that Matt here wasn't going into any of the directions, just started a really nice discussion here. And I think we can all be pragmatic and purist, and I'm battling internally in my head as well. Sometimes I'm too idealistic and I'm wasting 2 weeks for finding out the best name for the property. Yeah. And sometimes I'm doing website in 2 hours and I hate it 1 hour after. So
I think
it all depends. That's the perfect answer from the IT perspective.
Really, now the definition of pragmatic has changed in the context of .NET, where pragmatic might look a little bit closer to what purists would have been in, say, Net Framework with V8, and now the proper purists in Net Core are kind of the ones pushing proper testing and maybe proper abstractions, where you don't have to do that in Net Core, but you do have to kind of follow what the framework gives you and tells you to do. So I think it's just all shifted upwards a bit. That's my view.
Yeah, and still, it's nothing but to cross paths and try to be both. And again, we are all switching our mindset and battling internally sometimes with being one or another. And then it's just up to choosing the best path to satisfy the current approach or project needs. Maybe sometimes, right? That's the pragmatic part, maybe, because we will need to choose more rather than apply the same solution for everything and expect the same results. That's interesting. I would love to hear more voices about it. So if people want to dive into the discussion, it was on Slack, it's on Matt's post. Of course, link will be down below. Share your thoughts about it, because everyone is interested about the other voices on that topic. The next one is about some HQ changes at the end. So first, we can officially congratulate Philip on becoming a new Umbraco CTO. And we were discussing it sometimes back in the days. If it will be this move.
He's a great choice, a logical choice, and clearly he's been driving alongside Jacob, of course, for the past year or two that he's been there now. He's been driving better processes and all of that sort of stuff. So it makes sense. My only hope is that he can still get some kind of hands-on time with the CMS product. As I've said this before, I think he's a great champion of what makes CMS great. I hope that doesn't change.
Yeah, and I remember how I admired Philip's skills on asking and answering unpleasant questions when we were going through the challenging discussions on the acquire process of Umbraco and various other technical stuff amongst the projects. And I think, exactly. I think he's perfect for this role, and we can just congrats and see how it will evolve in the project structure. And last item on our list is a new hire on Umbraco HQ, and it's Alexander. And Alexander is a new hire to the cloud feature team, so he will be helping in building the new stuff for cloud. And I have seen some of the really cool stuff about gaming industry. It's something about Diablo too, probably. Pretty interesting persona to extend the team, and everyone can catch up and learn more about Alexander here. But the team is constantly growing, so it's not that people are just leaving the team, but it's an ongoing process to grow bigger and better.
For sure.
So exciting times, and that's all from our list of news for today. A lot of the things again, not going shorter this list every week. No. Just as a final point, of course, 2 weeks from now on, we will have episode 200. Help us reach our goals. We'll still find out something cool to organize for this episode. And if we missed anything, let us know. We'll include this in the links and maybe recap it on the next week. Share your work with us and probably use the last 2 weeks of October. 2 weeks of 1 week.
1 week. I know 1st of November is the Monday after, so
Oh, damn it. So we have last week to contribute to Oktoberfest initiatives. Let's make it count. And have a good rest of the day, productive weekend ahead, and the final week, when we will hopefully maybe summarize a little bit the Oktoberfest contributions. It will be almost the end of the week. So we will try to maybe summarize some of this.
Or we'll be too busy rushing to get our final contributions in.
Maybe we'll cancel umbraCoffee and just do some kind of contributions, or use the half-hour umbraCoffee slot to write some code here. That's a good plan.
In fact, I think we do have a plan for next week's episode for the first time in a little while. So
Yeah, that's true.
Discussion. People joining us.
Cool. So as usual, thank you everyone for being with us. Like, share, subscribe, and help us find a new content for the next episode. And see you in the next Friday.
Yeah.
Have a good one.